Hello wonderful people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you continue to watch this video, give it a thumbs up and let's get into today's video. So today we'll be looking at a song done by Nyasha Ngoloma, and today we'll be looking at one of her songs that she released a few months ago, and the title of this song is Atamaliza. Verse 1, she says, nimekuja na habari njema, ninakukumbusha hadithi ya mtu mmoja alimuomba Bwana kama angempa baraka ya mtoto mmoja aweze kurithika. Alingoja sana, akamkumbusha baba, naye mke wake alikata tamaa. The moment I read those lyrics, you already know whose story is this. Now this is Abraham and Sarah. Okay? Malaika wa Bwana alipotumwa kuwaeleza kuwa maombi yao yameshajibiwa. Sara alicheka sana, kwani alishangaa, jamani nyinyi mnanionaje? I know this is something that we mnanionaje, like siwezi. And ye hakujua kuwa Mungu alishapanga aliyeanza kazi nzuri kamaliza. Then of course the chorus is aliyeanza kazi nzuri atamaliza. That's the chorus. We get to verse 2. Nataka ucheke, usikate tamaa. Umwishie Bwana hata unapojaribiwa. Usimame imara, amini ye atatenda. Mshindani wake amesha kushindania, aliyeanza kazi nzuri atamaliza. And then there's the bridge that says, tumaini langu liko kwako. Now maneno mingi because I'm reading Kiswahili, and Kiswahili was not one of my favorite subjects in high school or in school, so kindly bear with me if kuna mahali nimesoma vibaya, munielewe. Mimi ni kama Jeff Koinange, sisi na Kiswahili hatupatani, lakini tunajua Kikuyu, sawa? But then I saw Jeff akiongea Kikuyu and I was like, so you know Kikuyu but you don't know Kiswahili. The irony, yeah? But now she's talking about Abraham and Sarah. Now Sarah laughs because she thinks that she's too old. Not she thinks, but she's too old. She's past childbearing age, her and her husband. And now here comes angels who have brought this good news to them that the Lord will do it, that a time like now next year, you'll be holding your son or you'll be having a son. But God does not look at, our standards. God goes beyond our standards. God goes beyond the standards. Mbona ninashema leo. God goes beyond the standards of this world to come and bless you. He does not need your opinion. He does not need your kuweka tick. Whatever he says, he will bring it to completion. He will make sure that his word has been fulfilled in our lives. And so this is what Nyasha is telling us, that he who began that good work in you, he will bring it to completion. He made Sarah and Abraham meet. He made them stay for all those years together. They did not divorce. Or is there's anywhere we've been told Abraham and Sarah divorced? No, there's nowhere. It has been written in the Bible that Sarah and Abraham divorced. But they were together for all those years, married, still waiting on the Lord, until a time came and they were like, now I think we are beyond childbearing age. Sasa sisi ni kuishi tu, tufurahie maisha vile imekuja. So that was their state. But God knew, I who brought you together, I will bring you to completion. So let's read Philippians chapter 1 and verse 6. Being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Jesus Christ. Now there are two words here that I want us to look at. Being confident of this, and then there is a good work, and then there is completion. Being confident means you trust this person. And I remember in the first season, I think we talked so much about trusting God and believing in Him. So you cannot have confidence in someone or in something if you do not trust them, if you do not believe in them. So that is one thing I want us to see. Then there's the good work. When God created the world, He looked at it and said, it is good, it is beautiful. So there is always a good work that God is working in us. Even if you're going through hard times in life, there is a good work behind that. We might not see it, but just know that there is a good work that God is doing in you hapo nyuma that you cannot see. So the reason why Paul was writing this, he knew his life was almost coming to an end, and he had the news of their disunity. The disunity in the church of Philippi, the harassments they were suffering because of their faith, because at this time Paul was already in prison. And Paul was confident that God will start, that what God started in the Philippians, He will continue and finish. Like getting saved and knowing God was not just the end, but there's something that God was still going to do. He was going to continue doing the good work that He started with them. He will still continue doing it. And the work of God was doing in the work God was doing in their life was not always pleasant. I mean, of course, there are times bad things would happen, and there's also the good side of the things that were happening. So Paul wanted his friends to keep in mind that whatever they faced, God was using it to increase their strength and dependence on Him, and ultimately transform them to be like His sons. Because we go through tough seasons and tough seasons in life, but even in that does not mean that God has abandoned us. No, He's still with us, and He wants to glorify Himself even in that hard situation. So He wants us to gain that confidence and totally trust Him, because if we put our trust in men, we will fail, we will fall, things will not be okay with us. But when we put our trust and our faith in God, then we have everything. We need not to worry anymore, because God has taken care of our needs. God has taken care of everything around us and everything that concerns us. And so there are things. How do we know that God is working within us? How do we know that God will bring that what He started to completion? First of all, is we need to know that God is working in us, and we need to have that. Whenever you have that confidence in God, then you know that God is doing something in you. Whenever you have that confidence in God, just know that God is doing something in you. Then God is the one who begins the work in you. Then the other thing is the work in you is good because He is good. Then the other thing is God never gives up. Once He starts, He never gives up. So God will never stop working. The way He started, or once He starts working in you, once He starts doing that good thing in you, He will bring it to completion. So at times we might think, kwani God ulipiga pause? No, God hajapiga pause. God bado anaendelea kupiga kazi yake kwa life yako. So that is one thing we need to know, that God will bring it to completion. No matter how long it takes, God will bring it to completion. Then the other thing is God will finish His work because He sees the end. We always say that there's light at the end of the tunnel. Now, at the end of the tunnel, that is where God is, and our ending point is the starting point of God. When we think like tumefika mwisho, God anakujanga na kuonyesha sasa ndio tumeanza kazi. Like sasa, this is when now I've started working in you. This is when I've started doing a good thing in you. So God sees the end. we cannot see the end. I mean, we do not know how our tomorrow will be, but God knows how our tomorrow will be. So he sees the end. And so I love how Nyasha has used, different scenarios in the video. She has used Alice Kimanzi, like a woman who's praying to God, asking for a child, and God fulfills that. He gives her a son. And now this is so, it's a testimony because God did it for Alice Kimanzi. And then she also uses a couple that have been dating like for a long time. They've had their good times and all that, but time has come when they should get married and things seem not to be working. But God makes that love beautiful by them, wedding and living happily ever after. Okay, we've not been shown the happily ever after, but we can tell that there's a happily ever after that. And then she also uses this man who's looking for a job, and God comes through. And then she's using a lady. And then there's a lady who has gone to school and has now graduated, and people are celebrating the doing of the Lord in her life. You could have gone to school, you graduated, but there's no job yet. Remember this: he who made you go through the system of the school system, he will make sure that you get a job. Even if it's not a job like a white collar job. What are white collar jobs again? Okay, if it is not a white collar job, but God will give you even the ideas to, set up your own business. God will make sure that you have something to show after that. So don't give up. If you're out there, you have your degrees and there's nothing to show apart from your degrees, maybe you do not have a job and all that, just know that he who began that good work in you, he will bring it to completion. If you're a couple out there, you've been trusting God for a child and it's been taking long, or it's been taking longer than you expected, you know what? He who brought you together, he who began that good work in you, he will bring it to completion. It is not yet time to give up, because God does not give up on us. God does not stop doing that good thing in us. He does not stop along the way ati sasa ametuachilia. No, God will make sure he will follow his word to the latter until it is fulfilled and accomplished in our lives. If you're feeling like giving up, this is the good news that I'm bringing to you, that God will bring it to completion. I have that confidence in Christ. I have that confidence in God that he who began that good work in you, he will bring it to completion. Don't give up. Don't give up at any point. Just trust in the Lord. Put your hope and faith in him, and he will do it for you. Okay, so this brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you've been blessed. Go check out Nyasha Ngoloma, and remember, we are here to support our very own. So go subscribe to her YouTube channel, like, watch, share. Also on the comment section down below, let me know how has this song ministered to you. Let me know how this song has ministered to you. Has it blessed you? Just let me know your thoughts on this song. So until next time, bye.